Good morning, everybody.
What is that?
I don't know.
So, IMAGIX, you enjoying your vacay?
Oh yes, definitely, man. Got 2 weeks of much needed time off. Happy to be here in Colorado visiting family. Had a good time watching the Rockies over the weekend. Went up to the Mesa yesterday. Got some good old mosquito bites that I'm paying for today. But yeah, I'm looking forward to four-wheeling this weekend with you. And yeah, I'm enjoying my time. We still got 10 days left.
And welcome back, the Scissorman Warrior, and I am here today with my very real brother. And it appears that the stream shows as incomplete. I am not sure what YouTube is doing. There we go. YouTube is acting wonky. Hopefully YouTube doesn't act wonky anymore, but I'm with my very real brother. He goes by IMAGIX. He is with Shadowlands. They're a pretty top-end guild, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, Shadowlands is a great alliance. I'm in the part of the Shot First division, and last month we actually had 2 teams placed in the top 10 in Territory Wars. Very proud of that. And yeah, Shot First took 9th or 10th, and Vanguard was, I think, number 6th.
So, normally we like to end everything with story time, and I'm going to end story time again like I normally do, provided everything works normal and righteous like it's supposed to. But why don't you talk about story time for them as far as how you got Malik? Because a lot of people don't have Malik, but you do actually have Malik. And how did you come to get Malik?
Well, I happen to have all the characters needed for the old, I think it was the Old Republic characters, and I had them to get Rev and Prior, so I had them geared up. And it was right before a territory war, months back. I was sitting on some Zetas, and I decided to go ahead and pop them on Mission in Zalbar, and to make that my OR team. And then Malik came around. We happened to be this was around April, and my brother and I actually went down to Kansas to bury our dad. So in the hotel one night, happened to be that one weekend that we were in Kansas, and we had the Malik event. And so we were in the hotel room, and we were sitting there, and he had already unlocked Malik, and so I had the characters at the 16.5K that's needed, and we spent about an hour and a half in the room unlocking Malik. It was a good time.
Yeah, so you were like, we can't not get Malik this weekend. It's only this weekend. And so we had to try and figure out, what we had to do to unlock it. I had spent the better part of probably 6 to 8 hours throughout the day trying for my own Malik, trying to figure out strategy and comp and all that kind of stuff. And the bottom line came down to remodding Mission for me to get enough damage output. So I took my Yoda mods and moved them over to Mission, and that's when I ended up winning. And then when we started doing it with yours, I noticed the same thing. Your damage output wasn't high enough, so you did the same thing.
Yeah, fortunately, not like everybody, I do have my brother Warrior here to help me out, and he actually unlocked Malik on the plane ride down to Kansas. And so that evening when we had a chance to look at my account, most of my characters are up there, but we played there was one other event that weekend too, I thought. But we played a couple rounds with Malik, and then we remodded them with the better mods, and we unlocked it actually the very next time, so it worked out well. I'm happy to have Malik, that's for sure.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys, everything on the stream stays good. I have no idea. I've tweaked everything. Mobile Gamer helped me a few weeks back, and after I did a few tweaks that he suggested, things were going well for a few weeks. And then last week we had some issues with lag and freezing and stuff like that. My internet speeds are sufficient. OBS is up to date. I am using YouTube. Everything looks green on our end. Everything's around 10,000 kilobytes per second. So the kilobytes per second looks solid on both. But sometimes I notice YouTube. Sometimes I notice YouTube and OBS being friendly together. So if it does that and it freezes a little bit today, I apologize. I do want to try and get the stream out today for you guys. So let's go ahead and first kind of take a look at where my roster is.
Looks like we might be back online here.
Just issues with.
I'm also going to try to do what I can to keep up with people's questions today. And bear with me if I mispronounce a name. I apologize in advance. English isn't my strong point. Numbers are.
Yeah, well, you'll probably mispronounce names because I do it all the time, but we will try and get to questions if we can. I just wanted to kind of showcase roster. And first off, I got Revan, and I have spent the last week since unlocking him putting it. I had all the Zetas basically ready to rock and roll, so it was just a matter of gearing him up, and he's going to take a minute to get to gear 12, but he's pretty strong at gear 10. So I did get my very best mods on him, and stat-wise, it's looking pretty good. For the health and protection, I'm at about almost 40,000, which is about as good as I can get. And then I have my fastest speed set on him, 129 speed. And 129 speed puts him at 277, and he's my absolute fastest character that I have.
That's awesome. I want to give a quick shout out to Gain812. He said, hey, Warrior, he's been playing for 7 months and just got Jedi Revan. I'd say that's pretty good, considering that the Scissorman account, I think, is about 6-7 months old and got Jedi Revan, and that's a pretty good feat to be proud of. So kudos to that. He also asked if he should be farming Darth Revan or switching over to Separatists. I'll let Warrior take that one.
Yeah, so I think that Separatists would probably come second. Darth Revan is the strongest team in the game, so if you were going to pick a team that you wanted to be that was the very, very strongest, it would only make sense to go for Darth Revan on there. As far as Biggs, the reason why he's in my favorites is I am doing him for ships. I've got K2SO and Jyn Erso in there for ships as well. For anybody that's saying that the stream is lagging, that is going to probably happen all day today, and I don't know why. My internet's perfect, OBS looks perfect, and YouTube looks perfect. But YouTube and OBS, for a month now at least, I've been having issues with the two of them communicating properly. And when they don't communicate properly, and I don't know how to fix that, it causes lag throughout the stream. So the solution is don't do streams at all, or just suffer through, because all my settings are set exactly to where they're supposed to be. So not sure what to do about the issues with YouTube and OBS. It's super frustrating as a content creator to have massive issues between OBS and YouTube. I'm thinking of possibly looking at a different open broadcast software, but I don't know of any that are free that work as well as OBS. In fact, I've heard of a few that are even worse. But back to this. We got K2SO, Jyn Erso, and ships. We've got Biggs for ships. We have Darth Nihilus because he's, well, Darth Nihilus. And then we have Poggle. Now, I had Poggle in here for the ship I was farming for Millennium Falcon, because Poggle shares a thing with Scoundrels, or with a bounty hunter ship. But once the rework came out with Geonosian Brood Alpha, I wanted to level up Geonosian Brood Alpha, and now, of course, Poggle the Lesser with his rework is phenomenal. So super excited about that. So I've got Poggle to 5 stars, gear 7. And then I have Wicked in there. I am starting to work him with if I have energy that's over that. And then Canderous, Juhani, Bastila, Fallen, and Karth are the ones I got. Hold on. I've got those 4. They are ready to rock and roll for Darkside Bastila, or Darkside Revan. And then, of course, I've got HK47, and HK47 is the easiest of all of them to farm. So I don't have him in my favorites because he just naturally happens. As Azrael, thanks for the donation. That was very nice. BTI or Triant Gear 13 Fund, I appreciate it. So thank you very much for the donation. So if you have questions, you can ask for them. Hopefully the stream stays relatively healthy. Again, I apologize. The only thing I can do is do what I can do with what I'm given. And honestly, I have a feeling that OBS and YouTube are having issues with syncing because it seems to ebb and flow. But for now, it looks decent. As far as other characters, these are my other characters. Trying to get as many to gear 11. That's kind of my staging point, is gear 11 if they're top end characters. And If they're not top end characters, then I take them to gear 8, maybe 9. Just so I can unlock whatever character they're needed for. And we have a Grand Arena, but the Grand Arena battles aren't going to be until, well, for a few hours, like 4 hours, so we won't be able to do that today. But again, if you have questions, go ahead and ask away. He will go ahead and IMAGIX will go ahead and answer them. I'm just going to go ahead and start playing my dailies and farming.
Good morning, everybody. Stone, yes, you'd be right. I was on a live stream actually, I think it was a year ago, was my debut. But it's been a while, so this is like my second debut. It's kind of sad being so far away up in Washington, kind of miss not being able to do this with my brother. But let's see here. There was a question here. Oh, how long after I become a patron would he be able to get a roster review? That's a question for my brother.
In about 6 weeks or so. I get to him. Normally, I get to you within 30 days, but then it takes me a week to 10 days to actually build it and produce it. So normally, right now, I've got 2 in the waiting wings. One's waited for a week, and the other one's waited for 3 weeks. And I'm about to start on the one that's waited about 3 weeks. So he'll get his probably right at the 1 month mark, and the other one will probably get his right at the 1 month mark. But sometimes it ebbs and flows, and sometimes my schedule and stuff. So but that's about the right amount of time, 4 to 6 weeks.
Sounds good. Also, no promises, but I'm in town for about another 10 days or so. And so if it works out with his schedule and timing, we might be able to do another live stream, maybe even at a different time. I'd love to be able to showcase my account. And if we have a Grand Arena event or something going on, we'll see. So hopefully that works out. I'd like to do that. That'd be neat. Looks like we have another donation. Thank you, TB12.
Yeah, TB12's GOAT is actually a patron of mine, a relatively newer patron. He's donated $5. I really appreciate that, bro. He's asking, who's the new guy? And that's you. That is my brother, my real life brother. He goes by IMAGIX in the game. So, and he's visiting, has vacation the same time I do.
Yep. I took some much needed time off, took 2 weeks off, came back home to visit family this week and next week. And my brother was just in a situation where he's got some new employees underneath him where he was able to take some time off. So it worked out well. And I think we'll be doing another live stream next week, hopefully. And somewhere in between there, we'll be able to knock another stream out. That'd be kind of fun. Thanks, Maximus. He says I'm looking better than you are. And yes, we do look a lot alike. Growing up, man, we're only about 14 months apart. This is the only time right now that I can actually say I'm 2 years older than him because my birthday's at the beginning of June. His birthday's at the end of July coming up. And so right now there's a 2 year difference. But growing up, he was taller, I was taller, and we looked like twins growing up. The only way my mom would separate us was she would always buy him the blue clothes growing up, and I got the red clothes. And somehow I got all the red clothes, and I didn't even like the color red, and she didn't even know that. And we were telling her as adults one day, I'm like, why'd you always give me red? And she's like, I thought you liked red. And I'm like, no.
Another donation, Keaton.
Yep, another donation, Keaton. Thank you. He unlocked mods last week. Congratulations.
Well, welcome to the never-ending cycle of having to buy mods, which I'm about to do. Buy mods, all to find a sad disappointment in what you receive.
So how is everybody today? Everybody having a good day? Got a good week going on? It's hot here in Colorado. It's in the hundreds. I'm from Washington, and we've actually had some cooler weather up to this point. I know the country's kind of in a heat wave right now, but Washington and Spokane, I'm from, actually was cooler. It was in the 70s and low 80s, so I've been enjoying the cooler weather. I'm not acclimated to the dry desert heat anymore, so it's definitely warm. Everybody staying cool out there?
I got 2 mods with speed.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Maximus asked if you have tested Java Scavenger against Geos to see if the hype is true.
No, but I can tell you from watching the video, it is true, but you have to have like Gear 12 characters because they have to survive long enough to place thermal debts, and if they're not very high, they'll just die before enough of them are placed, and the Geos will survive. So you got to make sure that they can take enough hits. So really gear 11 minimum, but preferably gear 12 at a very, very minimum gear 12. And then Keaton said, I got a 13 speed mod as one of my first. So excellent on you on that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, mods are probably my weak point. You know, farming mods is a never-ending thing, and I don't know, you can go months without getting a 15+ dot mod, and then having to micromanage the mods to your characters is crazy. I'm gonna actually talk to Warrior about looking at one of those programs I think that can help you mod your characters, and my modding is overdue for sure. Hot in the UK. Washington State is where I'm from. Spokane, Washington, up in the inland northwest. Damn, 105 today in Vegas. But that's expected, isn't it? Phoenix, yeah. Nevada, yep. Arizona, all that's hot. Wow, Boston's 66. That's actually low, isn't it? I don't know what Boston's weather's like, but 66 degrees seems low. Hey, White Walker. Any Game of Thrones fans out there? I love the season. I watched it from 8 years ago when it started, and I love the ending, actually. I was a little disappointing just because you watch 7 seasons, and then they slow it way down, and you get real anxious to watch it all. And then I felt like season 8 was rushed, although I felt like I got some satisfaction out of the destruction. Jason's here in Tacoma. Woot. Another Washingtonian. Dexatronic said he got a speed to roll 5 times on a health arrow. Wow. He was trying to roll health, which is why speed hit 5 times. Isn't that the truth? It's always what you don't want is going to roll.
That what you don't want?
Yeah. Let's see here, make sure I didn't miss anything.
You know what I'm having a biggest issue with right now is, wow, that's good. 6 out of 8. Beautiful. Is I'm having issues with droid bots. Like I don't remember ever not having enough droids after a certain point. Like after a certain point, you just have an excessive amount that's totally unnecessary, at least on my main account. And I have no idea why I struggle so hard on my alt account to keep droids, but I guess it's probably because I'm putting so many of them, so many characters up so often. Side note, I've gotten 6 out of 8 twice now just in these sims, so I'm doing pretty well with his drop. Canderous is just doing well. Although I have to say, I enjoy getting anything out of Cantina. It makes me a lot happier to get stuff out of Cantina than any other location. Hard nodes are difficult to get, 2 or maybe 3 a day, which is just, not a ton. Let's see. Well, I guess I could promote him. He's already 5-star, and I just started him I don't know, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever, 2 weeks ago. Like his stuff is dropping really fast. Although I have to say the first, 3 stars goes really, really fast because the first 3 stars is only 60 or whatever to get the first 3 stars. So not too bad. Or 80. I think it's total of 80, but I'm keeping them level 1 because I don't want to use the droid bots, and 2, I don't want to fluff my roster unnecessarily. Let's see, Wicket we'll do if we have energy left over. We're doing Juhani and Basil Fallen.
Another shout out for Dexatronic. Sounds like he's in Seattle. So we got quite a few Washingtonians here today. It's a beautiful area, actually, coming from Colorado. The Washington's the Evergreen Strait. It actually just makes me feel right at home in the mountains. You got everything up there, and what Colorado really doesn't have, water. Over on the Spokane area mission. Is that something? And the reason I asked,
it's that big bug.
on the territory, on the new territory battles, I just did that last night, and I have a Zeta on my Dooku. He actually did pretty good. I think I completed 2 out of, or no, that mission. There's only one. There's not 1 out of 4. It's just one and only. And that was the first time actually doing that mission, because I was reading. I think the mission changes each time. You're not sure until which one you get until you go in. They change.
What?
The territory battles for the geos. I was trying to play catch up yesterday. I was on the Mesa all day, so I didn't have any service up there. But the missions change. Anyhow, I didn't know whether to target the bug or the Jedis, and Dooku actually did pretty good about stunning people and taking them down. And I ended up losing Daka, and again, game over. Oh, not old Daka. Ventress. Stream issues.
Yeah. Yeah, I apologize, you guys. It shows 10,000 kilobits per second in OBS, but then YouTube will show video complete, and then it will come back and say video low output, and then says video good, and then goes back to low output, and then goes back to video good. I have no idea what is going on, so I apologize to everybody who's watching. Nothing I can do from my end. I have no idea. Got a lot of stuff going down. So McTweet's asking if I'm going to unlock BB-8, and JTR and BB-8 aren't even a figment of my imagination right now. There's not even a possibility of either one of those. I don't have the 5 characters for JTR, and I don't have the 5 characters even 5-starred for them first order yet. I've got 3 first order to 7 stars, and then I'm working on the other 2, but I paused the other 2 for Canderous Ordo to get him up, and the Geo Brood Alpha. And Geo Brood Alpha was not planned, but I kind of had to, because I have 3 of the Geos at Gear 11 for ships, so it would make no sense whatsoever to not farm their leader and start gearing him, at least get him to 5 stars and start gearing him. So I had to pause for that. And then, of course, Canderous, same thing. I paused him, or them, for him, because he's an easy farm.
I just want to elaborate on one thing I know my brother's mentioned in the past, is that he has a guide for new people, like the pillar system. However, again, that's a guide, and at the end of the day, this is a game. And so, do what you want to do, what makes you happy, what helps you enjoy the game. And one of the things that came to mind is, a lot of people do have the Geos, and having that leader, the Brood Alpha, that one character can make a brand new viable team for you in Grand Arena, Territory Wars possibly. So it's an easy. For me, I farmed him up. Well, I'm at 20 some shards out of 100, so I'm getting him up there. But that one character created a brand new team for me. Up until this point, I wasn't even using Geos in battles. Yeah, we're both on swgoh, or whatever that is.
Swooshgog. That's hilarious. swgoh.gg. Yes, he's on that. I'm on that. So, all right, we are almost done with collecting shards for characters. I'm not doing too well right now with Carthonasi. He's not dropping too well for me. So, and then also on dailies, I don't want to do the items, the challenges, because I can do those challenges later and get number 1 in there. So looks like we're going to let's try and do an arena battle. And so I am facing basically the same stuff, that everybody else is facing. I'm in 27th place. This guy's in 26th place, so I can, it's not going to hurt him or hurt me to do that. And I've got to do a ton of battles. By the way, when I say I got to do a ton of battles, what I'm talking about is Grand Arena. Grand Arena drops these feats, y'all know that, and the feats are not too difficult, most of them, but some of them you have to, be in Grand Arena for, and some of them you can do in regular. So in feats, the promotion, and then, win 8 squad arena battles. I only have 5 hours left. I got to do 3 battles in the next 5 hours or I lose out on that one. So I want to do that. And then the rest are grand arena, with the exception of down here, squad arena, 21 battles. But that has almost a week left. So we're going to do 3 arena battles today in the next 5 hours. So hopefully I can win 3 because it's win 3 battles. We're going to go in and do an arena battle.
Yeah, side note for anyone who's who is in their shard for the arena, one thing that I've done is I've established a relationship with the guys that we climb with each day to work together, and I was easily able. One of the feats in Grand Arena is kill 5 characters with a Galactic Republic character, and we just get on the Discord and chat with the guys, and we switch our characters up, and we easily get some of the feats that way. So that's a thought. If you have a shard that you're in and have a good relationship, that's one way to try to get some of these feats knocked out. We do apologize if the stream is cutting. I know it looked like we cut out earlier, and we may not have even known, so apologize for that, guys. I know how frustrating a choppy stream can be. McTweet says, Scissorman, how about finally getting the fleet energy time reduced and crystal refreshing? I can tell you right there, I love that. You know, there's just a lot of stuff to farm in ships, and it's nice to be able to have that at a little cheaper rate, and we get twice as much because now I think the refresh time was cut from 12 minutes to 6 minutes, so we get twice as much. And it's just, you know, the more you get, you know, we'll take anything we can get from the game makers.
So these mirror matches, I forgot how utterly annoying they are. However, you know, there is a distinct strategy. You want to kill Yoda or whoever is the squishiest character. You want to kill that person twice, and then their Jolie will bring back characters for a third time that you got to kill. And sometimes you're going to have to kill them over and over and over. But once you get Jolie, one of the things, there you go. So now I got to come back and kill him again. So we're going to do that. We'll kill him. And then we'll go back after Jolie. The thing is, if they have a stealthing mechanism, which they do, we can actually kill their character in stealth and then use the abilities to make sure that, like, here we go. I have stealth, and so Jolie Bindo, the issue is he gets that buff from Bastila Shan, and that means he gets to counter pretty much 100% of the time, because RNG says it's an increased counter chance, which means 100% of the time when it's RNG. So anyone that's not stealthed, he's going to counter, and he regenerates health and protection every single time. So with that said, we basically, there's the... he does not have that buff. So when he does not have that buff, you want to attack him. Also, you want to use the non-counterable attack like I just did. And then anytime you can do massive damage. He will continually get rehealed, and he's bringing people back to life. And I very likely am going to time out because I'm playing on an emulator and I'm not able to hit buttons fast, and I'm talking as well. So, yeah, there's a really good chance that we're going to time out, but we're going to see. We're going to try and kill him really quick.
Yeah, Stone, I hope to showcase my account. You know, next week, if we do a live stream at the same time next week, maybe I will pop in my account. I'm in a UK guild as far as the time zones, so like my refresh doesn't happen for a while, and it would be nice to do a stream if I had all my dailies and, you know, more in the evening US time so I could do my climb. I'd love to show arena. We have
Hold on, I gotta concentrate on
yeah, Mr. Brown, or Francis Brown, apologize if I messed that up. One of his guildmates recently passed away, who was a big fan of your channel, and you definitely helped him out and stepped up his game over the years. So our condolences to you and your friend, man. We've definitely been through some sad times. We've lost some good friends over the years, way before their time, and apologize about that. Who's John Krasinski? I'm not sure who
John Krasinski.
Or John Krasinski.
He's an actor.
Oh, is it? Someone said I look like him.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've been told I look like Matthew McConaughey at once years ago, but not sure where that came from either.
We're almost going to time out. This was a terrible battle, but it's definitely hard when they've got, Gear 12 characters. They had a couple Gear 11s, but Gear 12, and I've got a Gear 10, so it's definitely difficult. But we won barely, just barely didn't time out. And yeah, John Krasinski is from The Office.
Okay. It's been a while since I've seen The Office. That's a fun show, though.
Yep. There's another team I can go after. I tell you, in one team in my Warrior Presents account, I've got Darth Revan versus Darth Revan, where I've got people that have 3 sets in the 160s, and I have 1 set in the 160. To put that into perspective, you lose. So that's fun. And then in my alt account, I've got mirror matches, 4-minute mirror matches. So yeah, that's super fun. I feel like I'm 6 months ago in my other account. So it kind of is what it is. You kind of have to, unfortunately, play the game that they provide. This is what these are the characters you have to farm. These are the characters you have to go if you want that crystal income. So the crystal income comes from your ships. It also comes from regular arena. And if you want that free crystal income, which accelerates all the rest of your development, you kind of have to play the game that they're having you play, which is kind of a shame because, it'd be really nice if you could just play whatever characters that you want to play and that it would just work, that every character had their strengths and opportunities, but that they were all kind of relatively equal. And that's just sadly not the case. Got the one battle done.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Brown, about the name. I chop names all the time. I really am sorry. It's I my kids will be the first one to tell you that I can't get their names right for nothing. And but definitely our condolences, man. We've definitely went through some loss. We're now in our 40s and we're crossing that line where you start, unfortunately seeing loved ones pass away, and it's never easy. And I know my brother showcased our dear friend Brandon in the Apache pilot a while back, and he's our age. He's a young guy. He was actually he would have retired less than a year later from when that event happened, and definitely sad times. Warrior, I think he said he saw a video briefly about the Jawas killing Geos at like a 50% rate. I haven't personally seen anything on it. I've read about it a little bit, and I was asking my brother this morning. It sounds like basically you have to have Jawas geared up strong enough to basically take the damage, and then the Jawas put out the little black or red bomb on the Geos.
The thermal detonators. Basically, they've just got to survive the damage, and if they can survive the damage, then if they're high enough gear, then they can apply enough thermal dets to kill the team. But you got to survive long enough to apply enough thermal detonators. So if you've got gear 8, 9, or 10 Jawas and you think it's going to work, it's not. The other thing is just because it's believed to be working as intended, meaning that it's exactly how the kit was intended, just know that whenever there's something like they just reworked the Geos this week, and then there's some cheese out there that works really well at killing something that's been just newly reworked, that's not working as intended, in the sense that they didn't expect for that to happen. So they're going to probably kill that opportunity. They'll probably change that thermal dets thing and say only one thermal det can be applied per round or something to that effect. So that way, a brand new reworked team doesn't just get totally destroyed by trash. That's not the intention of the game, obviously. So anytime they see that occurring, they normally kind of go in and fix it. So if it works now, just note that it probably won't work for very long. It's not going to work for very long. Actually, I've got all my dailies in. We're kind of in a weird situation because Grand Arena's not for 5 hours. Territory Battles isn't for another almost hour. I've done all my dailies. I have no events because, and I was actually planning on today doing events, but I don't have anything for Ray. And indoor escalation and pieces and plans, I have characters, but the problem is they're all like level 1. So like level 1, level 1, level 1, level 1. So I can't even, they're going to die on the first I might be able to beat the first round, but that at best is going to be what it does. I just don't have enough to do pieces and plans. Same thing with indoor escalation. I've got the Ewoks. I mean, if you look, I've got 6-star, 5-star, 5-star, 6-star, 6-star, but they're like level 1, level 1, level 1, level 6, and level 6. I used Logray and Ewok Scout early on in the first month, just as light side characters, because I needed light side characters. And then as soon as I had other characters unlocked, I obviously paused these guys, knowing that I would eventually use these guys down the road. But so that is, I'm basically done with everything. I've got a squad. I'm going to do another squad battle, which I can do. And then we'll go into story time. And I want to make sure I can get story time while the internet's still working. And it looks like YouTube and OBS are playing nice together right at this moment. So I'm going to do a battle. If you have any questions, give the questions over to IMAGIX right now. And then as soon as we have all the questions in, we'll answer them. I'll do this battle and then we'll go into story time.
There was a gentleman earlier up, I can't see your name, but you had asked if William or Warrior would be getting unlocking BB-8 today. I think he kind of answered that in a roundabout way. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get to that today. There's a Carlos, you said, Warrior, you started a new account, but when you reached arena, you were ranked 18,000. What should I do? Well, my advice is really all you can do would be take your 5 best characters that have synergy together and climb as high as you can. And, focus on the characters you need to, depending on what your, goals and are. Now, his pillar system, if you need some ideas on what to focus on, is really good for beginners and free to play people who can need a little direction. But climb as high as you can, and that 18,000 you'll cut that down in half pretty quick.
The other thing is I did a climb from like high like that, and all you have to do is pay for a refresh or two early on to make sure that you can have a higher climb, because when you're 18,000, you can jump like 3,000 in your places. It's not like you're jumping 5 like you do in the top 5. You can jump 1,000. You can jump 2,000. You should be able to set goals. So in day 1, try and get under 10,000. Just do a few battles, like 10 battles until you get under 10,000. Then shoot for under 5,000, then shoot for under 1,000, then shoot for under 500. Set goals every day. Do a refresh in arena and climb until you're hitting everybody who is basically the same as you.
So yeah, Stone, if you're around, maybe next week we will feature my account. We'll see how the week pans out. I don't know what time zone everyone's in. If this morning time for us is best worldwide, or if an evening time works out, I'm not sure yet. Toby Tartar asked if you'd recommend farming the Brood Alpha for free-to-play players. Well, again, it depends on, absolutely, if you have the Geos and you need Brood Alpha, absolutely. It's a pretty easy farm. The drop rates can vary. Some days I've had horrible drop rates myself. Some days they'll drop pretty good. I've been averaging probably about 10 to 12 shards a day. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's about average, honestly. But yeah, absolutely. It depends. If you have other goals, I would stay focused. I feel I do pretty good being focused, but one of my flaws or down drops is I get focused and then something comes out and then my attention goes over here, and I'm sometimes all over the place. So it depends on what your goals are and what you're striving for. Anthemadius unlocked JTR this morning. Congrats. I've probably chopped your name. I apologize.
So it looks like I got another arena battle, and for anyone that's in my shard, we're all in the top 50, not top 20. So hopefully nobody gets upset, but I'm just trying to do my battles. I got to do 3 of them in the next 5 hours. I got 2 of them, so it's just a matter of getting 1 more knocked out. I really, really, really need to get my JTR to gear, 12, and I need 12 pieces of gear, and these are the hardest pieces of gear. Let's see what I have. I might have some stuff in the stores that I can go for. So these are difficult. So let's see. Yeah, I could farm for them. I don't see, well, there's 10 right there. Not a huge fan of spending this currency on the gear, but Revan is worth that. And then I need 5 more, so I'm going to have to farm those on a refresh, which I'll get a refresh of energy coming up soon. And then, so that one will be done. And then this one, let's see. I'll have to farm that one the good old-fashioned way. I'll have to take a day. Normally, I take a day or two and just focus on nothing but farming gear, because sometimes that's just what you have to do. Same thing. I'm not a fan of doing this, but, you know, the shard shop. Let's see. I only have 99 in the shard shop. That's a shame, because that would be good. Let's see. I could use this new currency. So we'll do that. And the med packs, there's a lot of them. This one, this is a farmable item, so that I'll be able to farm. It's just a lot of purple gear to farm. But if you look at all the stores, you'd be surprised at how many things in the stores, how many stores give the things that you're needing. So just looking through all of it and paying attention to kind of what's in every store at every single refresh, and trying to keep your... There's another med pack. Stupid med pack. Let's see. How are we doing? Mark 10. Cool. Yeah, farmable.
Couple of things here. Joe, when is the CLS expected back? Off the top of my head, I don't know, but if you click on in the game and go to the forums, they do have a monthly calendar. And I would suggest just go there and peek and try to stay up on the content there. They have a lot of good information sometimes.
I actually think the CLS is in July. We'll see it before July ends, because it should have been in July. In fact, it should have been before Revan. Revan should have been the end of the month or beginning of August, and CLS should have been at the beginning of the month or in the middle. And I think they swapped places. So I can't wait to get CLS, because I have all of the characters for CLS. So it's just a matter of that event coming back out. But any day now for CLS, I'm sure.
And Wyatt asks, what four-wheelers do we use? I'm not sure. I think just basic four-wheelers.
Yeah, Polaris, 350 and a 400. So they're just basic two-seater, four-wheelers. We don't do the side-by-sides, because where we go, up on the Uncompadre and some of the other mountains, the trails are very, very narrow and very steep. In fact, if you hit up my Twitter account, you'll see some pictures from four-wheeling trips from time to time. But the trails are pretty narrow, and you really can't take anything more than a little two-seater. So we do like a Polaris, 400. It just has enough room for 2 people, and we take anywhere from 4 or 5 of these things. I have pretty much every one of our friends enjoys four-wheeling as well, and so we all go up in groups of 8 or 10 and try and four-wheel. So pretty good.
Dexatronic, you had asked who started playing Star Wars first. Well, that's a small little story. First of all, I'd like to mention Dilstradamus, another friend of ours, Jared. He was showcased on one of his Warriors YouTube streams earlier this year, I think. Was it this year? Mm-hmm. So he was on a live stream. He was the bald guy. At any rate, he's one of our best friends from years back, and he actually is the one who kind of gets us into games over the years. And he was playing this game before any of us. And then one of the times we were all together, kind of he got my brother into it. And because he got him into it, it's like, well, I got to sign up too. I can't be the only one not playing. So we actually started playing at the same time within a day or two. Let's see here. Not sure when Malik will come back. And Nathan, keep the grind up. 15 shards to gear 7. Good luck, man. I think the Vader shards you can't farm them. They come in like events and like rewards, I think. Yeah,
the rewards events, but also they're in the fleet store, so you could buy them out of the fleet store.
Right. Yeah, and this is fun. I hope to definitely do another video or two while I'm here in Colorado. And I definitely would like to showcased my account one time, and so we'll figure that out. I just want to shout out to all of you fans who support Warrior and follow him. It's a fun game, and I've definitely learned a lot from my brother as well. Every now and then, hey, what do I do for this? What counters this team? And it's kind of nice having a whale at your disposal.
All right, so I farmed the heck out of those ships. I was able to get them to 6-star by the last day, within a couple hours of the event, and was able to get a 6-star Millennium Falcon. That is amazing. Plus, I got a 7-star. You guys watched the live stream. I'm getting a 7-star Chewie. Chewie at 7 stars, Han at 7 stars, both at gear 11. Zeta on 1, not the other one. So, whoops. What did I do? There we go. Close the screen out. But it really helps in Arena now, having the Millennium Falcon, obviously. Houndstooth and Millennium Falcon are really the best 2 ships in the game. Yeah, sometimes it does that, but it comes right back, and I don't know what's going on. Like I said, OBS and YouTube have not played nicely, for me anyway, for a while now, and I don't really honestly know what to do about it. Doing my best to make sure all the settings are set perfect, and honestly, I went a couple of years without an issue for the most part, and all of a sudden, I move, I get better internet, and now it's like issues, and so the suggestions were just tweaking those settings, which I did. But like I said, after this, we'll do story time, so pretty excited about that.
Ben had a question. Wanted to catch it. Sorry for the delay, Ben. He says he's following your guide that you made, and it looks like this is for his alt account. He's wondering why Kira is in Pillar 1, and I know she can be accessed early, but let's see here. But what use does she have early?
So this is one of those things where I built it in a way that you could actually access the characters that they. And so in Pillar 1, you can get her right away. You also don't have to farm her all the way to 7 stars. You could farm her to 5 stars, but there's an event that gives you mods. There's an event that gives you credits and all sorts of stuff, and you need smugglers, and she's a smuggler lead. She's the only smuggler lead. So the only way to actually get that which they're offering out of that event is to have her. She's easy to get. You can use her in the credit heist and things as such as well. So she kind of serves a multi-purpose. Plus, you're going to use her in Grand Arena, Territory Wars, things as such. So she's just a really, really great all-around character. If you don't, there'll be some events and stuff you can't use her in, and that's exactly what happened with me. I've got her a little bit, but I haven't finished her out. I do want and need to finish her out, though, because I really want to run a smugglers team on defense in Arena. So I'm kind of passively working on my smugglers. In fact, we can go look at my smugglers if you'd like really quick so you guys can see where my smugglers are, because I have spent a little bit of time on them. But that event that comes out, the smuggler event, is it's really good because you want to get 5-dot mods. And it gives you good 5-dot mods. So here's my smugglers. And you can see I've got Kira gear 8, L3 at gear 7, young Han Solo at 7, and then Han and Chewie. But she can lead Han and Chewie. You just have to make sure you're getting your character to at least 5-star for the event that gives you 5-dot mods. So I got to get her up a little higher. I took in young Han Solo with Han and Chewie on that event, and it worked just fine. So yeah, so that's why you don't have to. Obviously, I want to finish getting her to 7 stars because she's a great leader, and I want to finish off my smuggler team with L3 and Han Solo. But you kind of have to choose your battles, and in theory versus reality is what it is. Sometimes in theory it's easy to get Kira, but sometimes it's more important to farm for that other character in Cantina that you deem more important. So for anyone who doesn't know where to go and what to do, I laid out a really nice strategic plan that they don't even have to think. They can just farm the characters and they're going to get nice, solid progression. They're going to be able to unlock a lot of characters and they'll be able to have a nice PvE focus. If they're more PvP focused, they're going to have to make some tweaks here and there just because that's what it is. But if you already know what you're doing and you're tweaking stuff already, then I would suggest you don't need a pillar guide to help you, right? But it is nice to kind of have it and check it out. So, all right. Well, it looks like the stream's been giving us a bit of issues, but I wanted to go into story time before everything just totally falls apart. So let's do story time and then we will get out of here. So I have told a story before. It was my story about kind of how it came to be that I was known at the department as Super Cop. So kind of an annoying title. I'm not a huge fan of being called Super Cop, especially since I think all cops are super cops for the most part because they just every day do their job thanklessly most of the time, and they often save other people's lives. The story that I put a guy out. He was on fire. He set himself on fire accidentally. It was a genuine accident. And I was just happened to be driving by. I was able to put him out. That's the original story. And then, of course, we were doing training and they were like, what do you do if someone's on fire? And they're like, call Super Cop. And that's where the joke started. So that's where I Super Cop came to be. But in my description of this video, I have a link to another story, which is a story about when I actually had a call out and ended up saving a little baby and doing CPR for the very first time in my young career. This was like 10 years ago. And so the little baby was Brian Duvall. The family was from another country and they were in Grand Junction, and the family immigrated here, and they were they were from kind of like the Czechoslovakian area. And they had visited and were basically, they had green cards and were working here and trying to make, their American way. And so they understood rule of law and all that kind of stuff. So that was good. Well, they were running a hotel down in kind of off of Main Street where I live. And they noticed someone doing something illegal outside and they got a bit concerned. And so they went ahead, called the police, which was a smart thing to do. So we show up. Of course, when I say we, I mean me. I was the only one to show up at the time. And I start talking to the individual that's outside that's breaking the law. And it was kind of a minor infraction. It's not a very big deal what he was doing. So I was kind of just giving him the riot act, and then I was going to let him go because I wasn't planning on doing any paper or anything like that on someone for a just super minor infraction. So we just kind of basically had a come-to meeting, and then I was going to let him go, and that was kind of going to be my day. Unfortunately, they were watching the entire event unfold. They were staring out the window. I think they were hoping or expecting me to arrest the guy for this minor infraction. And so they were kind of paying attention to me. What they were not paying attention to was their son, who was taking a bath, who was 8 months old. So unfortunately, their 8-month-old slipped under the water out of the chair that they kind of had him in. The water was a little too deep. He slipped out of the chair, went under the water. And for about 10 minutes, I was having this encounter. He was under the water apparently at between 5 to 8 minutes of that time frame is what their guesstimation is. Of course, he drowned. He turned purple, bluish, and was lifeless. And when she went back to check on him, she realized she'd been watching me and not the baby, so she ran back to the baby to check on him and just make sure he was okay, and he was dead. So she grabbed him and pulled him out of the tub, and then she came outside screaming to me as I'm wrapping up and about to leave for the day, letting this other gentleman go because I said it was a minor infraction. I hear dead baby, dead baby, dead baby as she comes screaming out of this place. And so all I know is I just ran towards the dead baby sounds and ran into the hotel, ran into the room to the left, the first room to the left, which is where they had him on the ground. proceeded to perform CPR for the first time in my entire life. I've never done it on anybody in my life, and it was an infant, which is a unique circumstance with CPR. You have to do it differently than adults, or you could severely injure or kill the child just trying to do CPR. So I performed CPR. I called out to my cohorts to try and come. Ambulance rolling code 3, which is lights and sirens. Get someone there. I performed CPR for about 3 minutes. When I started, the baby was just lifeless and purple. By the time the ambulance got there, about 3 to 4 minutes later, which, by the way, we were luckily 2 blocks away from the fire station, so they just had to get in the vehicle and come over. But they were there about 3 minutes later, and when they arrived, Brian Duvall, the little baby, was agonally breathing. Again, agonal breaths are the breaths you take right before you die. And I was able to get him to his body to start trying to take breaths. So they were agonal breaths. But his body was at least back to trying to live. And so anyway, we were able to get him stabilized. They immediately flight for lifed him to Denver. And about a week later, they found, after they stabilized him, everything, that he actually had no brain damage that they could see on scans whatsoever, and he had an absolute full recovery from that incident. So just right place at the right time. I always tell people, it's not about who you are, it's just about being available and being willing to do what you need to do when the time is right. So kind of a sad story about them not paying attention to their child. Incidentally, it caused his drowning, but the right people were at the right place at the right time. Timing is everything, and he was able to be rescued, flight for life, and have a full recovery. Shortly after that, I think the family was kind of afraid of being prosecuted for child neglect, child abuse, for not paying attention to the child. So they actually fled back to their country of origin. And of course, we didn't choose to, stalk them down. We knew it was an accident. We knew they weren't going to try to hurt their child, but they fled back to the country of origin, and they haven't been back since. But that story is linked in the description below. I've got a link to the story if you want to read a little bit more about it. But just one of those crazy situations. Like I said, this has nothing to do with me or my super copness. I'm not a super cop. There are hundreds and hundreds of cops watching this stream that actually play the game. These guys go out every single day. They work very, very hard. They save people's lives. They pull people out of burning cars. They resuscitate people in car wrecks. They stabilize people at their homes when people overdose, and they're the first ones to arrive. These guys are doing these things thanklessly every single day. What they see is crazy. If you guys knew half of what these guys saw, you'd understand why so many of them unfortunately take their life. So really quick shout out, if anybody's out there and feels like they just have had it enough, please reach out to somebody. Tell them what you're feeling, how you're feeling. Don't be afraid. A real man, their emotions and feelings. Let people know how you feel so people can get involved and help you out, because you're not alone at all. You're not alone in this world. So I just pray that you guys have a wonderful afternoon. I thank you, IMAGIX, for stopping on the live stream and having a good time. Again, I'm super sorry to everybody who got to experience the fun, extreme choppiness that was the live stream that we had today. But thanks for coming on today.
Absolutely. And again, thank you all for following Warrior and participating today. I'm going to be in Colorado for the next 10 days or so till the end of next week. So we do hope to do another live stream or two, and I will look to showcase my account. I would say I'm a dolphin, maybe a heavy dolphin, dolphinish. Anyways, I'm about 4.3 GP, and I'm worried about creeping on that 4.5 mark now with Grand Arena. So I've got 200,000 to play with, and I've got some characters I've got to gear up. Ben mentioned earlier, I think it was Ben, someone had asked what characters are best to, what separatists were best for the unlock Padme at 7-star. I'm not sure. My separatists are kind of on the weak side, and I was fortunate to get a 5-star Padme, but I still need that 7-star. And then last question.
So that'll be the last question. And to be completely honest, there's so many reworks that it's going to be up in the air. I honestly don't know. Basically, on that event, you'll just want 5 Gear 12 Separatists, and all you don't want is you don't want calls to assists. You don't want the out of turn attacks. The out of turn attacks are going to be detrimental because the out of turn attacks just give them protection. It just makes them stronger. So you're not going to want to take the newly revamped Geos in there. You're not going to want to try and do a bunch like B1. B1 actually makes things worse, not better. So you'll have to take in anybody that's not going to do all those, extra calls out of turn, and you'll do fine. I think Dooku Zetaed is going to be a really great option or opportunity for you. But I appreciate y'all coming on board. Thanks IMAGIX for showing up today. Again, one last shout out. I apologize to all you guys who were watching for the stream health. It seemed to go in and out all day long. Internet was fine the whole day. It's just something about OBS and YouTube communicating together seems to go up and down. I apologize for that, but catch me next time. I'll be making more videos. I do have a 3 tie video I've been meaning to do this week, but we've been having so much fun. It's been difficult to find time going to, swimming and four-wheeling and hiking and camping and all sorts of other fun stuff. So as always, if you guys want to see more content, make sure you keep your gaming on. Check the channel out throughout the week. And as always, keep your gaming on. Warrior
Out.